Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about my trend analysis of the use of coding in the classroom and how coding has been brought into schools in recent years. Now, first off, let's start by defining a trend. As you can see, I've included just your typical definition of a trend that you would find if you looked it up in any website or dictionary. And the key with a trend is that it is a change in the condition or output or a process. Those are the words that really stand out to me, because what that means is, when we think about it in terms of education, is thinking about what direction is education and student learning going in? How is it changing? And what changes are teachers making their classroom in this evolving world and the changing world that we're dealing with? So then the next part then comes into this trend is coding. So first of all, coding, simply put, is what makes it possible for us to create computer software, apps, and websites. So this screencast is built on code. The operating system of your computer, all the apps on your phone, Facebook is all built on code. And then the inclusion of teaching students about coding in the classroom allows students to become creators. It is intrinsically a problem-solving strategy. It can get them introduced to STEM or STEAM, and it gives them a new literacy, since becoming literate in code is going to become more and more important as we move further into the 21st century. So the question of why this trend? Why now? And when you look at the literature, it becomes apparent that a lot of people talk about that we should not just be familiar with the devices themselves, the computers, the smartphones, but with the languages that run these devices. And when you also think about the economic reasoning behind it, the computer and mathematical fields are increasing jobs at an exponential rate. There will be a 22% growth from 2010 to 2020, making the sixth fastest growing occupational group, and coding is a computer and mathematical based language. Also, the growth in AP testing for computer sciences, and the fact that it is a powerful language that can help kids solve problems and help them understand this elemental structure of modern society. So much of our lives are based on code, this invisible language that is all around us. And so we need to understand it better. But of course, with all trends, there are these areas of concern that arise when you think of coding in the classroom. Some people are worried that by introducing coding into classroom and introducing coding into schools, we're moving away from traditional literacies and reading, writing, and math. Some people are worried that coding is just going to be another form of edutainment. It will not really foster a legitimate interest in STEM or STEAM. And if we make coding mandatory, what is it going to replace? Now, these issues will all be addressed, but first let's talk about some implementation that has been happening in schools. So for example, if you remember learning about the Code.org's Hour of Code earlier in the semester, librarians are taking initiatives to bring this into the library and have students come into the library. Teachers sign up, they participate in the Hour of Code, and it's a great way of getting students introduced to it. Once students are familiar with it, though, there's different ways that you can use coding programs. Scratch, it helps with digital storytelling and is fairly simple to use. Pencil Code allows you to animate scenes from plays or annotate poetry from hypertext. And you can use these videos to demonstrate all types of things, but students are using code to build these videos themselves. And when you think about it, and you think about how teachers are implementing it, when you look at the research, they find that coding is not just being introduced to classrooms just for the sake of coding. Students are using it in conjunction with other skills, and I'm going to repeat that phrase several times so that they can display their learning. It's an incorporation of a new literacy that's not throwing out the old, but working to enhance previously acquired skills. And again, it's just introducing them to another tool so that it allows them to demonstrate what they know. So in some ways, coding becomes just like PowerPoint. students are then able to fully demonstrate their knowledge in new and different ways. When it comes to my own thoughts on the trend and looking over the research around this trend, some of the things that I realize are this is something that is obviously going to take time. It's going to be something that needs a lot of thought to implement these programs with administrators and teachers. Coding needs to be viewed as a chance to play and learn with your students. It's an opportunity for the teacher to learn from the students, because some of them are going to pick it up faster than we will. It's going to be frustrating at times, and we need to keep a positive attitude, and we need to have our students keep a positive attitude so that it helps develop their character, and it'll help them develop as learners in the sense that not everything is going to come easy to them, but by practicing and trying, that it is a skill that they definitely can develop. When I think about how this would fit in with the current situation at Lindbergh High School in the English department, there is more of a push to project-based learning, and so much of the research that I've read talks about how coding and project-based learning go hand in hand. And the key is to just find that place where it will fit logically with skills that are already being taught. And again, having students use coding to demonstrate other skills, having coding work in conjunction with other skills. And lastly, it is the idea that this is something that other teachers have been doing around the country, and so the wheel does not need to be reinvented. Just going on different blogs and different websites and reading the different articles for this, I have found out that tons of teachers all around the country have begun doing this and sharing their lessons and sharing how they've implemented it. And that on top of all this, that there are just wonderful websites that are developed specifically to help teachers incorporate code into their classroom, like code.org. Edutopia is another great resource. So I'm really looking forward to incorporating coding into my classrooms in the future. And thank you very much for watching today.